Hello from Slide Nerd and hello from Weaves. What's up, folks? All work and no play makes Weaves a dull boy. So in this video, let's go ahead and make our Facebook user interface for our Facebook login app using relative layouts. So first, let me show you the structure of our app. This app looks something like this. Now remember, there are thousands of apps on Facebook and I have no clue whose screen this app belongs to, right? So first, let's try to, when you look at a user interface like this, again, if you're a beginner, you're completely blank and has to how to make this using relative layouts. So let's try to break this into different pieces and try to understand. Now what you have first is this Facebook. It is probably a drawable over here or an image of some kind. But here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a simple text view for this. All right. Now remember, this thing, as you guys can see, it sticks to the left side of your parent. It sticks to the right side, right? And it also sticks to the top. So we can simply have the text view something like this. Align parent left is true, parent right is true, and top is true. Next, right below this text view, what we have is this email written over here. This email is another text view. Now if you guys remember, it sticks to the left side and it is also below this text view, that is the Facebook one, right? So for email, we can simply have something like this. We can say align parent left is true, and you can use a layout below and you can give the ID of this Facebook to indicate that this email should appear below the Facebook, right? We are going to do that in code and see how that is done exactly. Next, we have the edit text right below the email, which looks pretty simple again. Left is true, right is true, because remember, the edit text is stretched all the way. Now, if you guys can see some gaps over here, that's only because of the margins applied. Otherwise, it's stretched all the way, right? And it's again below this email text, all right? And then you have the password, which is again another text view, which is same as this. Left is true and it's below our edit text, and ultimately another edit text right below the edit text with the same settings. And last but not the least, we have our checkbox over here, the yellow box which you see over here, the yellow box which says save login. It's again align parent left is true for this, when it's below this edit text, right? And ultimately you have this text which says need an account, sign up using blah blah blah. Now this one is a little bit different compared to the others. It is stuck on the left side, that's great. It's stuck on the right side as well, that's again great. But remember, it is also stuck to the bottom of your parent, right? That is the relative layout. And again, if you see these controls, done and cancel and stuff, now these are actually controls put up inside a split action bar. When I talk about action bars, at that time I'll discuss about how to add action controls over there. All right, so let's actually go to Eclipse and see this user interface in action. Alright, so here in Eclipse, what I have my project which is called Facebook UI in Android Developer Tools. As you guys see the visual appearance of this, there is nothing inside. If you go to the XML file, here again there is nothing inside. So let's minimize this and probably use only the graphical editor to do our stuff, right? First, what we need is this thing. As I told you, I don't have the image for the Facebook, so I'm going to use a text view over here in place of this drawable. So I'm going to drag a text view and I'm going to place it align parent left is true, top is true, right? And I can stretch it all the way to make align parent right also equals to true. So let's go and see how that looks over here. ID, let's call this Facebook text view, right? And for the Android text, let me actually put Facebook over here. Now remember, again, this is not a recommended approach. You're supposed to put this text inside strings.xml file. I'm not doing that over here to keep things simple and fast, right? So if you go to the graphical layout now, you can see Facebook over here. It looks nothing like this one. I know, don't worry, we'll add our ice cream and jelly beans soon about this. So here, next, let me put the email edit text. It goes right below your Facebook, right? Align parent left is true and it should appear below your Facebook text view. So there you go. I just drag and drop it over there. If I go to my XML over here, I can change the ID and I'll call this email text view. Again, for the Android text, I'm going to call this email. Now if you notice over here, it says Android layout below equals to @+. Now don't put the plus sign because you're not supposed to do that. You're referring to an existing view which is above over here, so it's better that you don't put a plus over here. That's the recommended practice. So if you go to the graphical layout now, you can see the email text written over here. It's very small, right? Let me drag the edit text below it and let me repeat the procedure for your password and stuff. So here, go to the text fields over here, grab the edit text, align parent left is true and it should be below your email text view. So drag and drop it over there and again stretch it all the way to the right. You go to the main XML file over here, you can see remove the EMS attribute. We don't need that. For the edit text, I'm going to call this email edit text and it should be below your @ID email text view there, right? So let's go and see how that looks in your graphical layout. Okay, that looks good. Let's put the password below this. The same way, the password, this password and this email are the same, right? I'm going to go to form widgets, grab the text view, drop it right below over there, call it password text view over here. For the Android text, I'm going to put password over here and as usual remove the plus sign, right? So if you go to the graphical layout now, you can see password up here. Now let's drag another edit text just the way we did. In fact, we can just copy paste that and replace it, right? So let's go and do that. Have the edit text over here. We simply copy paste it, put it right below. Call the edit text as password edit text. Now remember, This is still a normal edit text. We have not configured it to be an actual password. We'll see how to do that now. And here for the layout below, I need to appear this right below the password edit password text view, right? Bam, there you go. So if you go to the graphical layout, you guys can see that this edit text is right below this one now. Now let's see how to make this password field as an actual password here. I can do that simply by using something called input type. I can say Android input type, and here I should have the option for password. So something like this, text password. Now again, I'm going to discuss about the different attributes of edit text and input type in detail in some other video, but for now I'm going to simply say Android input type equals to text password, and this probably makes it a password. Alright, so you have the graphical layout which looks pretty much like what we want, and what we need now is a checkbox. So let's go and put the checkbox right below this edit text by saying align parent left is true, and it should be below our password edit text, right? Bam, there you go. That's the checkbox. So let me rename it over here. I'm going to call it checkbox 1, just like that. Here I'm going to simply say save login. So now if you guys go to the graphical layout and check, that looks just the way it is, and you can also put an Android checked attribute over here to true, so that will put a tick mark by default inside your save login, right? Just the way you have it here on the user interface. Now ultimately we move to the last part, which is this text which says need an account, sign up using your phone. The sign up probably has a hyperlink associated with it. We are going to again see how to put a hyperlink later inside a text view, but for now I'm going to simply make a single text view over here, which is pretty simple in nature. I'm going to have this text view at the bottom of the screen, and here for the align parent left is true, and it stretches across the screen, so align parent right will also be true, right? So here if I go to my layout, there's my text view. I'm gonna call this as ID sign up. Oops, sing up, lol. Sign up should be the name. So here parent bottom is true, left is true, and right is true. For the text here, I'm gonna simply say the same thing, need an account. Now this is the text. Now if you go to the graphical layout and see, it appears on one line. To make it appear on two separate lines, let's go and put a /n right between both. Now if you go to the graphical layout and check, and they are in two separate lines, right? So in this vid we have built the basic structure. In the next vid I'm gonna make this look exactly the way you see here on the image. Alright, so if you like what you saw, please subscribe to my channel, comment, let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear from you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next vid. Have a nice